Yo, what up guys, and welcome back towards this new video here on the channel. On today's video I will be talking about Bitcoin, and I will be going over my most interesting charts I've got prepared for you guys out there. So don't forget to right away slap up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell notification so you will be definitely not miss out on any of the further content. And with that being said guys, let me jump right away in towards the content, and let me start off with going over the imminent short term on Bitcoin over here. So what we can see over the last couple hours, Bitcoin of course has been basically trading sideways, and I do see a lot of people really questioning that Bitcoin is right now creating a bear flag. Of course, what you can see, Bitcoin price action came down massively, and right now it's forming a consolidation slash bear flag consolidation phase here, and that usually leads towards a further continuation down. So what I will be saying to you guys out there is that I will be only anticipate further downside on the market if we do break below the 39.5k target, but as long as we're holding up towards that range here, we are probably still going to look pretty alright. As well, looking at the 4-hourly time frame, Bitcoin has been still holding on towards that 39.2k level, and for me the 39.2k has been the most important support range, and as long as we're holding up towards that 39.2k, I think we're still looking okay, because as long as we're holding on towards that 39.2k, we're also on the higher time frames still forming that higher low. As well, there's a very high probability that Bitcoin is going to be potentially create something like a head and shoulders, because you can see on the left side we formed a low on the market, then we formed a lower low on the market, and right now we're forming a higher low on the market again. So we could argue that this is the left shoulder, the head, and of course the right shoulder, and this will be an inverse head and shoulders that we're about to get created. So as long as Bitcoin is still going to form that higher low on that 4-hourly time frame, the higher time frames are still looking potentially very strong, and Bitcoin can still see a very strong bounce back towards that upside region. So far it has been really consolidating, and if we're really going to compare the Bitcoin price action towards, let's say, the the S&P 500, you can really see, if you're looking to the S&P 500 here on the chart below, and we'll be sharing you the chart in full motion in a moment from now on, that chart of course came down massively, and Bitcoin held up pretty well from that point. So the S&P 500 is falling very hard, and like you can see on this chart I'm right now going to open, we'll look at how hard the S&P 500 fell, and of course that was really dragging Bitcoin down here. But do notice that Bitcoin is holding up way stronger than the S&P 500 right now, and potentially, since we do know these markets are very highly correlated with each other, we want to be looking at scenarios that could be playing out on the S&P 500. You can see this massive red candle on the daily time frame was getting printed over here, and we're currently somewhere about 11.6% away from its all-time high. Of course, if we're going to look at the very important support ranges, you can really argue about these horizontal ranges we're currently looking at, that this region, of course, previously around provided very strong resistance, support, and we are right now retesting it again. As well, there's a potential argument that we are also forming that inverse head and shoulders on the S&P 500 on the daily time frame, and that could be of course a very bullish catalyst towards the upside, because if we're looking back towards the S&P, you can see that the S&P 500 usually tends to create these inverse head and shoulders several times in these markets. So it is a pretty common pattern that does play out here. So as long as we're going to hold on towards that 42.58, we are going to be alright, and probably the S&P is going to be moving up again, and that will be definitely help to move Bitcoin up again. And really talking about whether we expect the S&P to move up here, we always want to be looking, of course, at that dollar index here, because the dollar index, if it's going to be moving down, gold is going to be moving up, Bitcoin is going to move up, and all kinds of assets are going to move up here. Of course, since the last time around, these assets did have a little bit of a harder time here. It is all due to the dollar index absolutely skyrocketing. And what you can see here on the left side here, on the lower side of the screen, you can see the dollar index chart, and on the top side of the screen, you can see the Bitcoin chart. And what we can basically see is that the dollar index has been massively spiking here on that weekly time frame, and that is why these assets all had a little bit of a harder time. But also do know that every single time, once the dollar index does trade against this level of resistance, we always have been starting a massive rally towards the upside. So it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when we are going to see that next rally getting started. I am very excited about Bitcoin. I'm very excited about where we could be potentially heading towards from here on. But for me on, it's pretty clear that this is a very huge possibility that the dollar index is going to see a huge decline, or either we're going to see a huge push through this level. But for me, that's not really likely to assume, because the dollar index has been already trading in a downtrend since 1972, and you don't really seeing the dollar index breaking that downtrend while inflation is rising up above 13% a month, of course. So for me, it's pretty clear. I am buying more and more assets because every single dollar is going to get less worth, and everything compared to the dollar is going to increase in its value. So Bitcoin is compared to the dollar, and its dollar comparison is inevitably going to grow in its value since there's only more dollars in circulation. So for me, it's a very no-brainer, but look at this chart. It's a huge opportunity you still can join on right now. And I can still see that a lot of people are still afraid to be buying in towards this market. And I don't get it, because these are the time. Indeed, the market is a little bit more boring, but these are indeed the time that you should start to be buying, because it gives you a low risk buy here on the market. If you're buying on every single market peak or market bull cycle, you're probably not going to get the best average price here. Then also looking at the daily time frame for Bitcoin, you can currently see that the daily time frame for Bitcoin has been breaking down of its upper sloping support line. This is of course definitely a very, not a lovely thing to see here. This is not a beautiful thing to see, because you want to be seeing this level holding up, of course, right? But ever since we fall below it, have we been really seeing that drop off in the market? No, we have not. Also, do note on if we're going to set up here the volume profile range here. So where is the most amount of volume getting traded on? You can see this red line here is really trading on that 39k here. So for me on right now, what I will say is that the $39,000 is major critical support for Bitcoin. So you see this green box I just draw. This is the range that Bitcoin will be probably hold on towards. And if we really fall below the volume support here, so if Bitcoin manages to fall below the $38,000, we are definitely going to be screwed. Bitcoin is going to fall very hard. But so far, we broke that uptrend, but is this really the time to be panicking? Probably a lot of people are panicking over the course of this weekend. And there's a very big possibility that Bitcoin, by the way, is also going to create a huge move on the Sunday, because Bitcoin really likes to be moving on the Sunday 10 o'clock here. We really like to see volatility around that hour. We've seen that for the past 5 days, 5 weeks in a row. So personally, I am expecting more volatility near the end of today again. But as long as we're holding up towards that 38k region, I am going to be okay. And I will be definitely stick bullish to Bitcoin, because that's definitely part of my strategy. Buying and buying and buying and buying more. And I will be inevitably be right for accumulating so much Bitcoin. So as well in the 3-day time frame, I personally think this time frame is extremely exciting to look at. I think there's a lot of significance, and basically predicting the market from the 3-day time frame is very much the best time frame to do so in terms of its larger time frame opinion. What we can really see is that there's a major downward sloping RSI trend line getting formed. Also, we're starting to create an upward sloping support line on the RSI, and these are really going to squeeze in towards an apex. If we're going to get a bounce, we have to get it somewhere now here, and if we do get this bounce, we are probably going to see a very positive, few days ahead of ourselves. So, I'm definitely looking forward towards next week here. I'm extremely excited about it. This week was a little bit of a fake out week. In the end of the day, we've not really moved a lot here this week, so hopefully next week can start to become a little bit more excited. But 3-day time frame really consolidating. Also on the price section, we're really squeezing the price section in towards an apex to really decide which direction we're going to be breaking out towards, right? So things are closing in here, and there will be probably some massive amount of volatility coming towards us in the coming days, in the coming weeks ahead of ourselves here. Now, really talking about a larger time frame thing here, you can currently see this weekly, basically history that is somewhat repeating, of course. Bitcoin is still forming that higher low on the weekly time frame. And do note that last time around we did this in 2019 and 2020, Bitcoin absolutely skyrocketed. While we were forming that next bottom, this was a very good opportunity to buy. And once again, what are we seeing right now? We're basically seeing very much similar scenarios playing out here. We're first formed that summer low in the market. Right now, we're forming another low. And look at this multi-month consolidation phase. We are seeing a multi-month consolidation phase. We're seeing multi-month, basically 105 days already. Sideways trading, accumulation, redistribution. short-term holders distributing their coins towards long-term holders. There's really a change on who is actually holding Bitcoin in the system, and that is where these accumulation ranges are meant for. So yeah, I think this is a very exciting time here. We're still holding up clear above the 40k. Bitcoin is doing a very strong job here, and if we're going to create a next rally, it will be a huge one. So make sure to hold tight here. As well, talking about the funding rates, we can still see, I mean, for how long have we been seeing negative funding rates? It's been crazy, negative funding rates across the border for already approximately a few weeks right now here. So a few months maybe already. So it's a historic signal that shorters are definitely in the higher amount of the order book right now here. There are many more shorters than longers in this market. You're going to get paid to be in a long position. That is also why I am currently in a long position. I am getting paid to be in this position. I've been in a 4% loss here. I've been in a 10% profit. I've been in a 20% profit. But what my main reason of this trade is to accumulate more in this market. So like you can see, I've still got some several other levels set up here where I will be start to accumulate more and more Bitcoins around here. If the market is really going to come down, I will be buying more in towards my trading position. I am definitely keen to build up a very big position on this market, swing trade this market back up here, because that is my strategy. I personally think that selling your Bitcoin off right now is not a smart decision. I am going with the trend. The uptrend is here, the accumulation is here, and I'm just waiting for the next euphoria stage, because I've got a very good trade settled in here, and I'm definitely ready for bull run 2.0 in 2022. That is really signifying, this dollar index chart is really signifying there is a very big possibility that we could start to get this massive bull run. So guys, thank you so much for watching towards this amazing new update here on the channel. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did like the content, don't forget to smash up the like button. Smashing up the like button will be highly appreciated, since, of course, the YouTube algorithm has been lately a little bit harder to beat, since there's almost no interest anymore in crypto, apparently. So, yeah, guys, absolutely amazing if you can smash up the like button. Hopefully, you could do that. And, of course, do know the views are lower, so it is more value to invest your times right now here, because that basically shows there's less interest from retail. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll check you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.